Welcome along to the Whisky Stories podcast with myself, Graham Kilgour, and we're outside. It's our first outdoor recording, Angus. We are at the Glasshouse. We're in the Rooftop Garden, Ross, of the Glasshouse, as we are about to enjoy Scotch and Sketch, or Dramming and Doodle, for as Angus would put it. How are you getting on, Ross?
Yeah, really good, thanks. It's a bit different to Diggers. Enjoying it though. I've been in for rotation here before. I know Nacho, the general manager here, is starting to do more kind of masterclasses, tastings. So they've got canapes going round, they've got cocktail perfect serves going round, and Scotch and Sketch. It's just a bit different. So we thought we'd come along to something that is genuinely a bit different than your normal masterclass, normal whisky tasting.
Absolutely. Well, we've got it's Liana Moran, who is Edinburgh Illustrations. She is going to be the one who's, painting you, Angus, because unbeknown to yourself, you're actually you're going to have to strip off very soon, and We've got a nice little miniature to cover your areas. And the crowd that have gathered here in this lovely little garden area, they will be drawing you wearing only this.
Well, you said it was a miniature, but it's a very large fig leaf sitting on that chair. But no, it's great to be here, and that C grade at standard grade will sure come in handy finally tonight, Graham, won't it?
Well, I mean, are you a good artist, first of all? I know you're good at drinking Scotch, but are you a good artist?
Well, it'll be interesting to see if I get any better with Scotch. I suspect not. But you never know. We might get the old creative juices flowing. But no, I'm not renowned for my prowess at art. But
what about yourself, Ross?
I'm terrible. Absolutely terrible. But I've got to say, it's nice to be back with you lads as well. He's obviously been away in Germany and the continent. I've been grinding out, continuing to drink whiskey in Edinburgh, because somebody's got to do that. We've got some familiar faces here at the event today as well. We've got the team from Woodrows are kind of guests tonight, and then there's some people from Scottish Field Magazine and from Ardnamurchan and Adelphi Distillery as well. So there's quite an industry-heavy kind of guest list as well, which is good to see. And this is a 5-star venue. I don't know if you lads have been here before.
No, it's first visit for me.
Even if people are viewing us, they won't be able to see the view we can see. We can see straight up to Carlton Hill. This is one of the few gardens as well you can drink whiskey, and they've got a cigar menu as well, which you've discussed in an episode that I missed on Jeffrey Street. So it also gives it's just a different venue for Edinburgh.
And a bonus for Edinburgh, we've got a fairly cloudless sky.
It's 20 odd degrees. We're enjoying. I mean, as I say, I got a rooftop garden in Scotland. Isn't always something that you get to utilise, but
no.
As you've said, Ross, it's a sort of who's who of the whisky industry, which is obviously why we're here ourselves, Angus, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's not for the art.
If it's not for the art, it's for the whisky. Absolutely. But like Ross said, you and I, we had a great little time away in Germany, and we had a little we had a travel dram with us during the time. We had a lovely Glengoyne 10 first fill barrels, mostly bourbon and a wee bit of sherry as well in there, and it was absolutely delightful.
Perfect break from a lot of German lager.
Exactly.
But also a shout out to Schleier's Distillery.
German Distillery.
We had a good chat. We ended up meeting the head distiller who came over, offered this.
They've got some good liquid. I've had an Amontillado released from them, kind of green bottle. It looks a bit different and it's hard to pronounce, but actually good German single malt whiskey out there. I imagine quite a lot better than you didn't like what you had the week before.
Whiskey sponge stuff, no, but also Guten Tag to all our German listeners, and hello to the guys in Scotia Spirits in Cologne.
Yeah.
We missed them greatly. I saw that unfortunately we didn't manage to make it to Scotia Spirits on the day of the game, where he's probably in profit now, because Peter Class was giving away a dram for every goal Scotland conceded and a dram for every goal Scotland scored. So, I mean, we scored one that night. So you're looking at six. Well, I suppose it was conceded against Germany and scored against Switzerland. So
yeah,
you'd be 6 drams in.
Yeah.
Not bad.
That's pretty good if you ask me. This is going to be quite interesting because we are at a live event. So we'll probably come back and forth for the listeners and kind of tell them what's going through, but obviously we don't want to interrupt the presentation. And Nacho's going to join us at the end and talk about what they're doing here at the Glasshouse as well. But this should be quite special, gentlemen.
Yeah, well, I think it's about to start, I guess. So get your pencil sharpened.
Yeah.
Let's get ready. Do a bit of colouring in. The drawing has started. Angus has got a burrowed brow and he's currently got his tongue hanging out the side of his mouth as he's frantically sketching a bottle of whiskey with a dram here. But we're joined by Nacho, You are the you're general manager of the Glasshouse Hotel, Nacho. What's it like putting an event on like this tonight? Is this something that you guys are desperately keen to try and, the Scotch whisky industry and stuff like that, getting that sort of market?
You want me to, yeah? Yeah, so, I think obviously we're running here a business which is, hotel business. We all know, international company, Marriott, etc. But then there is also something special about the property and something that we have a story behind, and that's whiskey. So I think we started doing this type of events. We've been doing it for a while already, but we really started when we started the Whiskey of the Month activations with Anna Markan. That was the first of event that we did, and we plan to be a bit more on the scene of the whiskey panorama in Edinburgh. Yeah.
I came to the first tasting, which was at the Ardnamurchan and Adelphi tasting. It's one of those things that, of course, you get all these different master classes, but actually it's great because they're getting a guest speaker. It's different every time. The space you've got here at Nacho is obviously unbelievable. Yeah. And then actually,
you can't do this in January. Yeah?
No, of course not. We said that as optimistic. But what we have here, Glenburradale, is a blended malt that's been created by Adelphi, who were the first people to do that tasting. So you've got your own product, exclusive to you guys at the hotel as well, which is just, how fun's that? To have a product that's exclusive here when you're getting North American clientele coming in, or you're getting repeat custom from Edinburgh. They're coming in saying, what can I get here that I can't get anywhere else? And actually you have your own bottle of whiskey, which I think is to be admired, because a lot of businesses really won't do that. They'll buy independent bottlings, but it's very rare that they'll get a bottling done exclusively for themselves. So what do you think of the release? This is the second one. We'll have a little nose while you talk about it.
Yeah, of course, yeah. To be honest, I need to give credit to the former general manager who started the process. Back when I was operations manager, we transformed what we were talking earlier on. It was a honesty bar, which again, it didn't work.
That's a great idea.
No, actually.
Don't explain an honesty bar, what that means, because I've actually...
So an honesty bar basically works as you
Does an honesty bar become a dishonesty bar?
you basically pay for what you drink, but it's not. There's no bar staff there, so quite often, good people like ourselves, Ross and Angus, would obviously pay for every piece of alcohol and drink that we had helped ourselves to. But you obviously can't. You can't legislate for everybody doing that. So I can imagine that probably, hence the reason it's a former honesty bar that you had, Nacho. That's maybe.
Yeah, I work with it.
Licensing you were allowed to do that.
Yeah, I actually worked with it only 3 months. But to be honest, it was a big talking point. And now I think about it, obviously it was because it was popular, because you get free drinks. But when you...
If you were dishonest, you get free drinks.
But when you look at it from the hotel, it always has the sort of like boutique feeling about it, and this was actually a nice PR story for the hotel. When you think about it, you can actually have minibar complimentary in the bedrooms, and that enhances your guest stay. And this actually probably the back of it was this reasoning as well.
And so you obviously have a passion of whiskey yourself, Nacho. I know for a fact you were away on Isla recently on a brand trip to Bruichladdich.
Yeah.
So not only are you the general manager of this fantastic, reasonably new hotel in the city centre of Edinburgh, but actually you've obviously got a big passion for whiskey yourself. Now you don't sound like you're from Glasgow or Edinburgh.
No.
So what brought you to Scotland, and then how did the passion for whiskey start with you?
Okay, so I came into Scotland obviously when people was allowed to come to Scotland freely. Yeah.
The B word.
I came in to get some work experience and improve the language. As you know, many people from Spain, Italy, and all the and despite the weather, I managed to stay here for 15 years now.
Wow.
And So
you came here when you were 5, naturally. You look so good.
15. Now, so again, life comes in the way, and you meet people, and you actually have family here and everything. And I think I'm about to spend the same amount of time in this country than back home. So I consider myself Scottish in a way.
Absolutely, you're just a Scotsman. Yeah. And how was was that your first distillery trip you'd done out to Bruichladdich, or?
No, actually, so going back to whiskey, I like many drinks, I drank whiskey back home, back in Spain, Valentine's with Coke and things like that.
Chivas,
that's very, very popular. And I always drank rum, gin, and I remember I went to a leadership conference in Malaysia back before a pandemic, And on the way back, I saw a bottle of Lagavulin 16, and I was told by someone that's a very good whiskey. So it was a good price, and I bought it for my dad. And then COVID hit, and that was me and the bottle at home, and eventually the bottle lost the battle. I drank it, and that bottle never got to my dad. And actually, I really liked it. So I don't know if it's something very unusual for people to start drinking peaty whiskey.
Well, I mean, it's funny because you're now the third at least, or probably fourth.
Yeah,
In fact, Megan, who's sitting just across the garden from us. For so many people, Lagavulin 16 seems to be the entry level whiskey. Which for me, if it was going to give someone an entry whiskey, if they weren't a whiskey fan, it wouldn't be. No offence to Lagavulin, we are looking for sponsorship. But that kind of flavour profile is such a hard flavour profile to hit people with. But I think if you get into that is your flavour.
Yeah, and absolutely. I mean, I was just going to say as well, Graham, if you're a repeat listener to the podcast, you'll have heard even last week, Peter Class, his kind of gateway whiskey into the world of whiskey was a Lagavulin 16 that he tried in a hotel in Edinburgh, in Scotland, sorry. And yeah, so I mean, we've actually had, numerous people mention Lagavulin 18, which is 16, sorry, which is quite surprising. But there you go.
So what are you making out of Angus's drawing so far?
More like a Picasso to me, yeah.
I'll be more valuable once he dies.
Tell us about... Dearie me, that's terrible. So what we do have as well is at the Glasshouse, you're also trying to make whiskey more accessible for people that maybe aren't hardcore whiskey drinkers. Having a blended malt makes it more approachable. By the way, gentlemen, I don't know if you've tried it. Very easy drinking, really rounded. But also, we've got a cocktail here. What do we have in front of us here, Nacho?
I think I need to let the team explain that to me.
Okay.
But,
so
it's actually the same whiskey that we're drinking. So they've done a version of.
What do you think, Angus?
What's the flavour in it?
Yeah, very, very, very fruity. I'm terrible at determining what's actually in this cocktail. It's a healthy dose of kind of, I don't know. What do we reckon? There's watermelon or something
Very
in that.
tasty,
Yeah,
very
it's nice. Very nice.
And the whiskey?
Yeah, lovely. Whiskey's going down an absolute treat.
Not bad for a Monday in a sunny garden in Edinburgh, isn't it, Nacho? I mean, when you look at events like this, is this something you've mentioned about how the hotel has a connection with whiskey, and you're tapping into that market for tourism, which we know so many people come to Scotland to seek out whiskey and things like that. But for people who are living within the area and maybe residents of the hotel as well, are these events something that you're wanting to try and do much more of?
So it's a combination. First, we want to obviously get the traction of the business to generate revenue, which is what the business is about, but also to take the opportunity to hand in hand to go with the local community, and we want to be part of the. I think now there is a high drive on good drinks, quality drinks. People is looking for quality cocktails, quality whiskey, and I think we want to get in there and not to be classed only as a hotel bar where people So when we look at the margins, profitability, when we're going to the high-end whiskies, we don't apply the same. We want to try to keep it low, so to keep it accessible, because a bottle on the shelf is nothing. It needs to be rotating.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not going to mention any other hotels, but some hotels they do that, and again, what you're doing there is you're restricting it to people. And I think a customer that is happy to come into a place, maybe your margin for a whiskey is lower, but people will repeat business, and
makes it more of a destination bar, as you said. It's not just going to be a bar for residents that are just going to drink because they can. People are going to come in from Edinburgh. I know you buy from Royal Mile Whiskies, for example. We just actually spoke to your guy that's head of procurement, who says he's a big whiskey fan, and a chef as well, actually. Yeah. And we've had a whiskey chef on before, Colin Hines.
That's right.
And so they've got a good palate. And then if they're interested in whiskey, that goes hand in hand. So you almost trust them more if they've got a great palate and an interest in whiskey, and you know that they're buying it. And he's been doing that for a while, since after COVID, I believe. Yeah. But I think what a wonderful space and what an exciting time. When it comes to these master classes, how do people find out about them?
So this is the key thing. This is driven by our PR company and the hotel strategy. So the ideas come from ourselves. When we started talking about the whiskey of the month, I think that's where I started to actually get into action. My day-to-day job is not this, day-to-day job is, but this is a passion I inherited from my former manager, who started the whiskey bar here, and I think we have a very nice story to tell here, and for the whiskey of the month, what I wanted to do is to stay away from just putting a bottle on the shelf and say, okay, that's the whiskey of the month, or just put the price in there. So it's a combination of activities. Whereas it's the training for the staff that we do 1 or 2 months before. Meeting the team for the distilleries is actually very exciting when you meet the people behind the product, and that's the people that actually makes it special. And then we do, obviously the whiskey is displayed. We have also a flight. We have a bespoke cocktail, and then we want to do like a different activity every month.
Yeah,
This is different for a whiskey tasting as well. This is quite fun. It's funny, as you say, as I mentioned, we've got a lot of industry guests actually at this event, but this is just different. I've never seen a tasting like this before.
lots of drink drawers.
And it'll get people talking, it'll get people talking.
Well, we'll see the results by the end of the session. But
Yeah.
I think what we'll do is we will go into our former guests and go and see Megan and see what their results are like at the end. And so check out the Instagram, check out the Whisky Stories Instagram, because we'll post the results of this drawing as well, see what we think.
Absolutely. Now the other thing is as well, for people who are listening, and we're sitting in this environment, we'll get some photos up to show everybody about what this I mean, it's a lovely place to sit. Now we're out in the grassy area because we're able to, because of the lovely weather that we're having, but you have got to our right here, you've got like a nice little area where I can see the key thing that you need for an outdoor area in Edinburgh is a nice heated area where you've got these electric heaters and you've got them there. But the important thing is here is if you're sitting enjoying a dram, you're enjoying you're maybe here on holiday, or you want to come and have a whiskey at the whiskey bar, and you can sit outside here. You can also enjoy a cigar.
Yeah, 100%. And I think cigars is a part of the industry that we're only scratching the surface of it. I think there is a lot to it, and there is some key people that we've been in touch already, and I think this is a conversation that probably will follow. As part of the activations with the next partners, I think it might be that we do a cigar and whiskey pairing event. We can get 5.
If you need a hot podcast for that as well.
I think there's something. Edinburgh has a demand for that because there's never been a space for that.
Yep.
Now we have the puffin rooms that we have here. This is 2 reasonably new venues for whiskey events, but we're missing that. So do you have a cigar menu already in your whiskey bar?
Yeah, we have a cigar menu. We have a humidor, and we are slowly trying to get the team more confident to sell. And
is it mostly Cuban? Do you have a new age, like new world style cigars?
Mostly Cuban. Yeah.
Of course, that's what the demand is, really, isn't it?
Yeah, but then we're open to anything, so we're talking to different companies, and
nice.
Again, we also receive some inquiries for events, because obviously this space we use it for private events, and we had quite a few events based on cigars and whiskey.
In the whiskey bar you have up here, also, I mean, we say that the hotel's got a history of whiskey. We've not even spoke about it. There's several rooms actually in the hotel that are named after whiskey distilleries.
Yep.
As well, so you've got the Lagavulin suite, etc., etc.
So we're part of Marriott, and within Marriott we're a brand called Autograph Collection. In Autograph Collection you need to identify yourself with something different that makes you unique. We are the only Autograph Collection hotel in Scotland, so we chose whiskey. So the whiskey journey goes from the lobby, so we have a lot of features in the lobby. For whiskey we have the guests get given a tablet on arrival with a little bit of whiskey as well.
Yeah.
And the front of house, when they take you to your room, which is part of the standards, they already talk about whiskey and ask you, are you into whiskey? What's your...
Oh, nice.
So it's not only that we train the bar team or the F&B, but it's all the front of house.
It's very authentic to Edinburgh. So somebody may be coming for the first time, they say, you're into whiskey, you say, actually I want to learn more about it.
Yep.
Your staff are going to say, well, come up to our bar. How much whiskey do you have on your whiskey list up here?
I think at the moment we're around 200.
That's a good list.
It's good, yeah. You'll always aim to get more, but to be honest, I think that this is a nice number. It's quite compact.
Mm-hmm.
And then what I always say is that we like the cabinet to be alive in a way. So we just
want it
So whenever
rotated.
something is gone, it's gone. You get something different. So it's not like you need to. We have a bottle of Balvenie 30, for example. It's gone, and you could get another one, but it's double the price now.
Yeah.
And then
so
you
you look at what's interesting in that style that you can replace it with.
Yeah. But not only the big bottles or the big brands, but we also like to focus a lot on independent bottlers, which I think they are a treasure. Yeah.
It's very rare for a brand the size of Marriott. to be honest, to invest in independent bottlers. We've seen it. Lots of little artisanal independent pubs will do it, but very rare do you get a venue of this standard that are also willing to go to the independent bottling. So that's great, and that obviously comes through your love of whiskey and the buyer's love of whiskey.
Yeah, to be honest, this comes originally when we opened the bar at first, taking away the honesty bar. Adelphi, and they help us a lot
because they have such a great portfolio.
Yeah,
of whiskey.
so they help. So when Tom opened the bar back on the day, with me as an ops manager, I think they had a lot of input on, and they already made the collection quite special in a way. And then after Adelphi, we got Berry Bros. Now we got the Woodrows. We really like to work with them. And I think when you're a tourist, you don't want to drink always the same classics, so you can come to the bar and you can have a nice, if you never drank whiskey before, amateur session.
Yeah.
But then if you are into your whiskey, you're gonna see some things in there that actually
you won't see anywhere else.
They don't necessarily need to be the most expensive. And I think within the independent bottlers you get some really nice treasure.
Great value. Absolutely.
So, well, for people who are listening to this and they're hearing about your features that you're going to be doing malt of the month and you're going to be running sort of events across that, is there anything you can let us know what people can look forward to, when that might be starting, and what kind of, are you pairing up with distilleries, are you working solely with Adelphi, or what kind of events or partnerships or malt of the months can people look forward to that were listening to this?
Yeah. So we started with Liana Moran just to follow obviously that partnership with Adelphi, and that was a great month, and we had the open tasting here. Now we moved to Brooklady. So taking in consideration we're doing the Botanist Bar during the summer for 3 months. We're actually going to follow their brands as well. So we're going to do Brooklady, we're going to do Port Charlotte, and we have some activities planned. One of them is I contacted you guys to get someone from Brooklady to talk to you and do a podcast up here. So it's great that we're doing this now. This actual Sketch and Scotch idea, the idea today was obviously to see the format if it works, and if it works, maybe we can just roll out with some other people. I have some other ideas which they'll be coming, but what we want to do, we're working to get our social media a bit more spread, and I know it's difficult with hotels because we're very restricted to. The
HR and PR marketing departments.
But hopefully we can use these events, get influencers, get people
I'm
to
going to
come.
be posting a little bit more on Instagram and stuff from that kind of thing.
And then once we build a good base and a good reputation with the right people, we'll just start maybe doing some ticketed events. And
it sounds like exciting times.
Yeah. Well, I'm no marketeer, but I think the Honesty Bar would probably bring people back through the door. Well, listen, Nacho, thank you so much for coming on, and thank you so much for having us and hosting us tonight. We're going to start looking around and maybe having a look at some of the sketches that these guys have done, and have a few chats with a few different people and enjoy these lovely drams and cocktails that you've given us. Nacho, thank you so much for this, and we're looking forward to the rest of the evening and the other events coming up. Cheers.
Thank you guys, thank you.
Right, let's go and have a look and see how folk are getting on.
I'll leave you to study, Angus.
Right, you're working away there, Ang. Well done. Right, there's we've got Woody here. He's going left-handed. Woody, how are you getting on, mate?
I'm alright. I'm trying.
Is he left-handed?
Yeah, thank God I don't do this for a living.
Are you not thinking about redesigning the labels for Woodrows and you can start hand drawing them?
Oh, maybe. Can you imagine?
How's the drams going down?
It's great. Well, I've just smelled it. I've not tried it yet, but come back in 5 minutes and I'll tell you.
Lovely. Megan, let's have a look at what you've got going on here. Oh, aye, we're seeing a little bit more of a professional look here. Get that there, Rob.
Not professional at all. I didn't even take art class in school.
Well, you're doing better than Woody.
Oh, bless him.
But, I mean, thing is, all Woody needs to be good at is whiskey.
Yes.
Right, and that's all we need to worry about.
Exactly. No, none of us do this for a living, and thank goodness for that.
Absolutely. I mean, how's it been anyway? It's been a while since we spoke to you guys. How's it been for Woodrows? The blend's come out since the last time we spoke. You've been out and about, loads of different festivals, lots of different new bottlings. What's new and what can we look forward to from Woodrows?
What have we got to look forward to? So our next releases will be in August. We're going to have a 40-something-year-old rum coming out. Longmorn is the plan so far. These aren't solid yet. These could change. But yeah, we've got a few, probably 5 or 6 releases coming out in August. So we just got our second warehouse as well. So
I saw that. A lovely new warehouse. Lots of lovely racking in there. Is that full yet?
It's not full because we're very slow. Doing things properly.
Quite right. How many casks do you reckon you'll have in there once you get it filled up?
It's not that big a space. We'll see what we can fit in.
Come round this way, Ross. Come round this way. Hello there. I'm Graham. Nice to meet you.
Alex, nice to meet you.
So what is it you do here, Alex? You're here. You're a lovely artist. You're drawing very nice whiskey bottles
you
there.
are blind.
It's a podcast, but we do have a camera. So what brings you here then tonight?
Megan and Woody.
And do you work in the whiskey industry yourself?
Woodrows.
You work with Woodrows.
Like best friend / supporter / number one fan,
So what is it you do? You just sample it all?
basically.
Is there a favourite particular Woodrows that you enjoy?
The upcoming rum is absolutely out of this world. But besides that, I have a few favorites. Yeah, also batch 2 of the Woodrows. The blend is also very yummy. I preferred to batch 1, but batch 1 was still amazing. Other than that, yeah, I like most of their products. I have most of them at home. We met because I was a massive fan of Mortlock 12, one of their first releases, and then from there our beautiful friendship blossomed. So.
I think actually Megan talked about you on the podcast. I believe you mentioned that was it just a friendship that popped up from you guys talking about it?
Yeah, exactly that. That'd probably be moi.
And are you a frequent drink drawer?
Yes, drunk everything.
Yeah, but I mean, how often do you sit at home, pour yourself a nice big one, and then just sit and get the pencil and paper out?
Not as much as I would like to. Not as often as I would like to.
And then,
Quite
sketch and
different
Scotch.
for a tasting.
It's a completely different style of tasting, something we've never seen before. How are you finding it so far?
I like. It's quite immersive. I find it wonderful. I must say. I have finished my dram. Oops. But it's been great. I think it just when I'm not good at drawing, you just drink a bit more. I'm good at that, so I stick to what I know. But I like doing both.
And do you think you'll improve with the drunker you get? Please drink responsibly. Please drink and draw responsibly. Pencils can get sharp.
I certainly hope so, because it's not. Wait.
No, that's not bad. I mean, that's as good an effort as. I mean, that's better than I. Right, there you go. Right, we'll come round this way. Hello there. You've got.
Hey.
I believe you've gone down the charcoal route.
I did, yes, I love chocolate. I like getting messy.
Well, I'm Graham. Nice to meet you.
I've got black on your hand.
That's quite all right. That's quite all right. So, what brings you tonight along to this?
Well, I work with Adelphi and Ardnamurchan, and we make the YTL whiskey that we're drawing tonight.
Fantastic. Now, talk us through YTL then. Talk us through this. What was the process? We've spoken to Nacho about sort of how the cask selections and working with you guys. So, how does that? First of all, how did it come around?
It's so long ago now, I can't quite remember. But I think they were looking for a new house blended malt and something just a little bit more than a blend. And we came up with a recipe. We had a few casks hanging around the warehouse. And yeah, so it just took off from there. We bottled it at a certain strength. And then I think about a year or two ago, although COVID probably got in the way, I did a tasting for the team here and the owner, who really, really liked it. So I think we made a bit more. And apparently he's just come and got all the rest of the bottles, so we might have to make a bit more.
Oh, fantastic. I mean, Adelphi, I believe, have you got a bottling plant in Fife as well?
Yes, we do. Made on farmland.
Fantastic. Get Fife on. I'm a big advocate for Fife becoming a recognised whisky region. But I mean, what's the Adelphi journey been like for yourselves?
Well, I joined about 15 years ago. We celebrated our 30th birthday last year. So that was, it was still bottling Adelphi, but obviously we needed to make our own whiskey to kind of grow. And that's when the Ardnamurchan came in, because the owners were living on Ardnamurchan, and so they suggested a beautiful spot, lovely river.
Lovely.
And
hang on, Ross has got something to say here.
So I came to the first masterclass at the Glasshouse as well, which was you hosted. And so I know that yourself and your brother have been in the business for a long time.
he's been there for longer than me.
And so Graham, you're probably not too familiar with Adelphi's independent bottlings, but they're a prestigious independent bottle, that kind of Gordon MacPhail signatory level, amazing liquid. And obviously Ardnamurchan, we've spoken about Ardnamurchan quite a lot on the podcast, and the kind of bizarre launch of how good that liquid is. It's as a new distillery, an established distillery now really. But really great to see you here. And also, it's just a different whiskey tasting. This kind of whiskey tasting. So what do you think about it's not a standard masterclass? That's what I'm interested in.
Yeah, I mean, have you ever been to a Scotch and Sketch?
Scotch and sketch. And definitely, I think it's definitely the way to, especially when you're it's as bad at drawing it as I am. Just have some alcohol in you, just go for it.
Well, I'll be honest with you, right? I mean, between your table, I think you're in the lead there. There's some cracking picture. I mean, you've done. Look at that for a left-handed. Let's get that in there.
That's really good.
Oh, lovely. I mean, that's. Yeah,
I think I need to cut my ear off now.
Well, wait and see what Angus does.
We're going to go back to our colleague. Thanks for letting us bother you.
And we'll come along and have a chat later on as well. Right, we're back with Angus. Bloody hell, he's actually better than I thought. That's not half bad, Angus.
Yeah, we look close in the mid sketch here.
And of course, for the people listening back home and who see this on the YouTube channel, you can purchase this for a hefty price. All donations going to the Whisky Stories podcast. Angus will sign it himself, and you'll get your own hand-drawn picture of a bottle of whiskey in a garden with some thistles, drawn by head of research and head of art development, Angus, the whiskey fan. How you find that, Ang?
Yeah, I mean, it's taken me back to doing art at school, which I never particularly enjoyed, but this is quite relaxing. But you know what, I actually find the whiskey bottle almost the hardest thing to draw. It looks like it should be the easiest thing, but I don't know. It's just the straight lines just seem to be difficult.
And are you going to put your age on the picture when you finish, drawn by Angus, age 34?
Angus Shepherd, age 34 and a half, yeah, absolutely.
Well, brilliant, right. We'll come back and have a wee look around at other people. We'll let we'll let them carry on with their art. It's a lot hard work going on here. We're at the bar. We're in the bar area. We've got Emily here who's got the most important job of the night. She's not drawing anything, but she's pouring the dram. Emily, I'm going to come round and distract you here. How's it been?
Yeah, it's been good. Been really, really good. So it's good to get our whiskey out there, and of course we've been trying to, do a little bit more with whiskey. So yeah,
different kind of whiskey tasting as well, which is nice.
Yeah, it's nice.
I've been to hundreds of whiskey tastings where somebody stands up and lectures me about the whiskey. This is genuinely quite different.
Yeah, I mean, we're trying to do something different. I mean, we do have a collection of about 200 whiskies now, so we're trying to do something a little bit different and also showcase our own blend that we've had for a while.
The welcome drink was great. What was in the welcome cocktail?
Yeah.
Nacho wasn't sure. We got him. We caught him out live.
You did catch him out. So we used our own white ale whiskey. So again, you've got some really, really lovely notes in there. We think it's very similar to Talisker because you do get that lovely maritime salty notes to it. We then decided to create a mulled and salted strawberry puree. So it added a bit more to that saltiness of the whiskey, and it also brought in, it's summertime now, so we've got to think about our Scottish strawberries. So we used that, added in some rhubarb bitters, added in a bit more of a fruity note, and then we made a Earl Grey sugar syrup to add that lovely floral note and to lift it up a little bit more.
Stunning.
What the hell? So how long does it take? How long does that take to put together? A lot of preparation in that.
It is quite a bit of preparation. So the syrup, the strawberry puree, takes us about half a day because you've got to blend the strawberries together. You've got to put that saltiness into it, and then you've got to kind of tweak it, make sure the acid's right. And then for the syrup, it doesn't take too long. You just take a few of the Earl Grey tea and you just infuse that into the sugar syrup.
So is that an Earl Grey tea bag or just?
Nope, the actual tea leaves itself. Right. So we do quite a lot of other stuff here at the hotel, like afternoon teas, and we use fresh tea leaves. So we thought we would take that and put it into
Emily,
the
you're an
syrup.
absolute pro. What is it you do here at the Glasshouse?
So I'm one of the food and beverage supervisors, and I'm also the only whiskey ambassador as well.
Oh, fantastic!
Now you're pouring some drams at the moment. So what is this that you're pouring?
So this is version 1 of our whiskey. So this one, it's a little bit more toffeed. So of course we've gone on to our newer one with our tartan. So we've got some lovely toffee notes to it. There's a nice mintiness to it. This one's got a bit more smoke. So if you like your smoky stuff, this is probably a better one for you. But again, all using Adelphi. So we have a great partnership with Adelphi. So
how long have you been doing the whiskey ambassadorial role for the Glasshouse?
So I just got certified in October.
Amazing.
So thank you. It's always something I've wanted to do, and I love the whiskey industry. I grew up next to a distillery. So
which one?
Glengarry.
Okay,
Up in Aberdeenshire.
There we go.
Yeah. So
Could you see it from your bedroom window? Not being creepy, it's just that's
No,
a theme
that's
that's
the
happened
thing
on this
with
podcast before.
unfortunately, not
Not that much
No,
love.
but you could smell it from the high school.
Yeah.
We would actually make our way when we were going to get our lunch. We would actually purposely go in past the distillery.
One of Scotland's oldest distilleries, Graham.
There you go, Glengarry.
1779.
There they are.
And they're reintroducing floor maltings. A brilliant
Now-
distillery.
So in terms of the whiskies that you guys have behind the bar, Nacho's mentioned that you've got about 200 behind the bar at the moment. You want to keep that number just ticking over. You don't want to go too high. You just want to keep those bottles turning. What could somebody expect if they walked into the bar, if they're just wanting a standard dram at a reasonable price? What's the sort of go-to for you guys there?
So our go-to, it varies quite differently. So one of my bartenders, he quite likes to give the Linkwood 12. So we do quite like our lovely Linkwoods. The Anok is one we reach for quite a bit. Recently, I've actually been reaching for the Lacheg Sinclair series. I think that's such a good dram.
Rioja cask.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that one. We reach for the Glenarchy 9, the Curve cask. We do the...
You've got a bit of everything. That's
we
amazing.
do everything, yeah. I mean, we love kind of unique casks as well. So we've still got kicking around the Glenfiddich IPA edition. We've got their Double X, which is very similar to the Signet as well.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Once Big Angus sells his picture for millions, right, and he wants to come in here and he wants to go top shelf, give me the big bucks. What are you looking? What's the big hitters that you've got behind the bar that you can spend a bit of cash on?
So big hitters, we have the Bora 80, I believe it is. So that's setting you back 220 for a double. We also are one of two
Which
bars.
actually is not bad for Broda.
No, we also have, we're the only, well, us and someone else in Edinburgh have the Glenfiddich Yokosura 29-year-old. I have personally tasted that one and it is stunning.
I've never had that.
If you've not had it, it is, I would say, the smoothest dram I've had.
Amazing.
And you're going to give us a couple of them this evening, aren't you?
Well, yeah. I mean, if
can't help a fifer.
If Ignacio's not looking, then absolutely.
And just finally, are you going to be taking part or kind of taking charge of the cigar and whiskey offering you're doing here as well? We've asked Nacho a bit about it because it is such a unique thing for you to have. I think there's been a demand for it in Edinburgh for a while. We've mentioned it a couple of times in the podcast already. It's a very exciting thing to offer, but there's really not that much knowledge about it around about Edinburgh.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not 100% sure. I mean, they talk a lot of stuff and then I find out about it slightly later on in the process. But I know we've been speaking about it for a while. I've done a bit of research myself. I mean, we recently updated our cigar cabinet. So I had, from our older cigars, I had started pairing it with whiskies.
Nice.
I mean, we do get some guys coming in saying, what whiskies can I pair with it? And I was like, oh, well, you know, this is a good one for this and this is a good for that. For me, it's all the flavour. So
Nice.
hopefully we'll be able to do some exciting stuff with that soon.
We'll let you get
Well,
the
you carry
drams
on
out.
board. Aye, well, thank you very much,
Two more
Emily.
drams. I mean, do you want your drams now?
Why not? Yeah, let's try them while we're here, eh? Ross is running out of hands because he's carrying a microphone and a camera.
Do you want me to hold something for
I'll
you?
manage.
Oh, we.
Yeah, real life, what you think of it.
Gotta say, Emily, you're a pro. Did you work
Oh,
at
that's lovely.
Glengarry when you were up there? Have you worked in whiskey before?
No, I've always done hospitality. So I started out at a little place up there and then came down here for uni. I'm always interested in the spirit side of things, hospitality side, and then of course pandemic hit. So
Of course.
that took a big hitter. Thought let's go into marketing for a little bit, so did that, and then been trying to get back into the whiskey
Yeah.
industry since.
Well, this
so.
whiskey's fantastic. Quite
lovely.
sweet, quite indulgent. It's really up to your style.
I quite like it.
Graham,
I just love it. Right, well, let's let Emily carry on board, and thank you very much for
Thanks
those
so much,
drams. Thank
Emily.
you. Cheers. Angus, it's a moment of truth. We are joined by our artist, Liana Moran. Liana, how are you doing tonight?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Had a couple of drams, and it's I tell you what, it's a completely different concept, Ross. This dramming and drawing.
Yeah, I mean, it must have been quite interesting for you. How did this come about for yourself? I mean, we can obviously find you on Instagram as well, Edinburgh Illustrations, must keep you pretty busy. But so for a hotel in the city centre to say, you know, we'd like to get you involved for whiskey tasting, how did that come about?
So I've gotten to know Nacho, the general manager, a lot recently, and I done work for the Glasshouse when it reopened about 10 years ago, and so he's been bringing me back in again to do a bit more work, and he's really interested in promoting the whiskey side of it, and I've recently started doing a lot more work for distilleries and drawing them, so it kind of partnered up really well, and then thought we could do something really interesting like this for the hotel and use the space and bring the drawing and the drinking whiskey together.
So what kind of distilleries have you worked with? What other places have you drawn?
So a lot of North East, I do a calendar every year of all the distilleries of Scotland, so it's my bestseller every year just because everybody loves whiskey so much. But I've started to draw a lot of the newer buildings as well, and trying to do a lot of the smaller distilleries. I've done the classics like Ardbeg and all the ones on Islay and Talisker as well up in Skye.
Do you have a favourite in terms of the actual distillery, in terms, to draw? Or?
Yeah, I really love the ones on Islay, like Ardbeg and things like that, because of the actual beach and the water. It's so nice being right next to the sea and stuff. Yeah, they make some really good pictures. So yeah.
An advent calendar, whiskey distillery.
Just a calendar, not an advent calendar. You don't open it. You don't open it every day for Christmas.
I will say. I don't know why I said advent. I'm not an advent calendar for half my life.
You can.
Honestly, I decided I was too. You can tell, like, I hate chocolate, so I decided I hated that when I was much younger. But a calendar whiskey distillery sounds brilliant. So can people get that through your Instagram? Is that the best way? Have you got a website or?
Yeah, it's edinburghillustrations.com, and I've also got an Instagram under the same, where I put up all my new work and everything I'm doing, and yeah, everything that's going on, and hopefully more of these events.
What we need is now we need you to judge our head of research and our head of art, Angus Shepherd. Now he's a wee bit nervous.
I haven't signed it yet.
What to do is, Angus, you pass your microphone to Liana. She can sit there and look at this now. Talk us through what we've got here.
We've got a very we've got a really good abstract take on the bottle of whiskey. Got a lot of the barley, which is really nice, and I love the texture of the cloth that you've got in. Not many people are drawing that because that's quite a tough one. So
go hard enough. Nah, go hard.
You can't go hard.
What are you giving him out of 10? What are you giving him out of 10?
A solid 7.
Shut up. A 7. Are you kidding? Right, tell me the truth, right? If you're that confident, would you put it in your calendar next year?
I've actually got that printed already, so
that's a hard no there. Right. So I mean, when it comes to drawing, if people are under the influence of whiskey and they decide after listening to this podcast, you know what, I'm going to pick a bottle out of my cabinet and draw one. What's the sort of secret here? What we got to look at? What can you give advice to somebody for doing a bit of drawing and things like that?
Best thing is to maybe place it next to like a wee glass as well, and then you can get a better size and a perspective.
There's some good looking bottles out there.
Yeah,
you draw the Dalmore or something like that. It could be quite eye catching. Thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it, and also it's just something quite unique and quite different.
Yeah, it's cool.
And so we're really glad to come along to. This is the first tasting I've ever done like this. So yeah, what a treat.
Yeah, thanks very much.
Absolutely. Now that's us stopped recording now, so you can actually tell me what do you think Angus is? You do a guy that's shy, yeah.
I would never say shy.
Well, aye, for people who aren't listening and watching, that will be for sale later on.
You remember to sign it. So
sign it.
Totally.
He's going to put 34 and a half, age 34 and a half beside it as well, Angus. Well done. Liana, thank you so much for coming in, and thank you for listening. I look forward to seeing that whiskey calendar for next year, and looking in, what month would you put that in?
Solid February.
February. Mm-hmm. That's a boring month. A quick month, eh? That's it. You've got a quick month. 28 days. You don't want people looking at that too long, eh? Well done, Liana. That's it. Okay, so we've got another few guys here who are, oh wow, they really are showing. We know who the drinkers are. We know who the drawers are. Let's be honest. What was your name there?
Grant.
Grant. And are you a keen artist or just a keen drinker or both?
Hey, maybe I'm a keen drinker and artist at the same time.
Well, many people have famously been keen artists and drinkers. So, I mean, what brings you along to an event like this?
We're part of Scotch Field, so we were invited along to experience it, and I'm going to try and show off my artistic skills.
Fantastic. So what is it you guys do at Scotch Field then?
We are a lifestyle magazine, so we're covering quite a lot of stuff.
A lot of whiskey.
A lot of whiskey.
Come around here. So what was your name, sorry?
Richard Bath.
Nice to meet you, Richard. So you've only managed to get the neck of the bottle so far. I've
done lots of other rubbish beneath. As soon as I saw you guys, I just got rid of it all because it's just like really embarrassing.
Well, I mean, this is a fantastic effort over here beside you.
But he does art. I do words.
You do the work. So you're the artist of this.
Put the both together, you get the magazine.
Yeah. There you go. So I mean, how long's the magazine going for?
124 years. And but we also do Cask and Still Whiskey magazine as well.
Oh wow!
And that's been going for 10 years, give or take. So yeah, between the two of us, that's what we do.
And coming along to a night like this, I mean, we've been asking everybody, and no one's really said they have been. Have you ever been to a whisky tasting like this before?
No. I've been to a lot of whisky tastings and never one like this before.
It's quite a unique way of getting you to immerse and interact with each other and other people, and also enjoy the whisky as well, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, the whisky helps you loosen up with your drawing, and
yeah, he's got better. I've just got worse. I'm just desperate. Couldn't draw a straight line.
So I mean, what kind of stuff? I mean, you'll be writing about this. You'll be going back. You'll be saying this experience and things. I mean, it has been I mean, you look at there's what 20 odd people here tonight. It's been quite a success in that front, but it's been very enjoyable as well, hasn't it?
Yeah. No. Do you know what? Well, it's definitely novel. I mean, I've never done anything like this before. So we've. Yeah, I knew I was rubbish at. I suspected I was rubbish at drawing before, and now I absolutely know. So they've got a sort of certainty. But the other thing, the whiskey's good as well. I mean, we've sort of tried a couple of really good drams, tried some really interesting gin as well. So it's been So that's much more. I mean, that's much more my soul.
Well, maybe your drawings hasn't got much better, but your drinking got better. Is that's the most important thing here, eh?
Can you drink and get worse? I don't know.
Maybe not, but I'm going to come around here because this is fantastic here.
Oh, really?
What was your name?
Anastasia.
Nice to meet you, Anastasia. And are you an artist, a drinker, or a bit of both?
Second one more.
Second one more. I mean, you're a very good drawer. What have you done here? Talk us through this.
No, it's a third one. See, there's a more embarrassing tries.
These are lovely. These are great.
Yeah. Nah.
I mean, we'll hold this up to the camera there. Look, hold that up. That's lovely, isn't it? That's fantastic. Talk us through it. There's a bit of charcoal in there, a bit of pen as well.
My name is Anastasia, and I'm really good at drinking and drawing bottles.
Well done, Anastasia. That's fantastic. And are you part of the magazine as well?
No, I'm an influencer. So how public is this going?
I mean,
people's going to see that?
Oh, millions. Once they hear about your art, and once you. So what is it? How can people find out about you? What is it you do with your influencing?
No, I was a bit embarrassed by that, but it's Edinburgh in my heart.
Lovely. Yeah. Well, thank you very much for sharing your lovely picture with us, and well done. What I tend to tell Angus has done it. He's put your age at the bottom of it when you sign it, so people just know.
I like Angus's camera.
His camera's good, eh?
Yeah, I just got a new one as well. It's also a Sony.
Oh, lovely. And are you a whiskey fan yourself?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I can't call myself a pro. If you ask me some questions, I'd embarrass myself, but I do enjoy whiskey.
And in terms of, like, I suppose the content that you put out is all about Edinburgh content and things like that. So is it Edinburgh bars, Edinburgh places to visit?
A bit of everything. Edinburgh, places to do, places to visit. Scotland as well. A bit of family content, things to do with children. Pretty much everything.
And that's a strong Edinburgh accent you've got yourself there. Where's it you're from originally?
No comment.
Oh, okay. So, in terms of like Edinburgh, we do a lot of recordings in different bars and pubs around Edinburgh. One of the things that we've said that a real traditional Edinburgh boozer shows you is if it's got red upholstery in the pub. Some of the bit with Athletic Arms being the sort of main hub where we are. Have you ever visited the Athletic Arms?
No, sorry.
Well, what I would suggest is you get yourself into the Diggers Athletic Arms with that picture, sign it, and I'm sure they'll hang it on the wall for you.
I'll try.
Well,
I will try.
Thanks very much for that, Anastasia. Thanks very much, guys. Lovely picture. I mean, you're winning so far. Honestly, that's a fantastic picture. Thank you. Right, Angus, let's head back to the table there. We're back. We've done a little roving there. We've met a few people. Saw some
roving
lovely
around the rooftops.
Roving the rooftop garden there. Ross, we're coming up to sort of the end of the evening. There's some people that have done very well at drawing. There's other people that have done very well at drinking. How have you fared for the night?
It's been fairly tame. No complaints whatsoever. As you gentlemen know, and I've not seen you for a wee while, you've been away in Germany. I've been full of whiskey recently. I was stuck on an island drinking whiskey for about 2 weeks.
Well, we mentioned this a couple of weeks ago on our last podcast before we went to Germany, but you were absent for a few weeks over an isle, a Fage Isle. Is it Fage Isle?
It's actually Fagila.
Fagila, there you go. I mean, if anyone still listens over in Isla,
it's also Tom and Till. You said Tom and Tool earlier again.
but for anybody who's listening in Isla, if they still listen after, I think you kind of suggested and hinted that you were a bit fed up with the island lifestyle when you were back.
Not at all. I loved it. Best place on earth. No, the thing is, it's a small island. 3,000 people. We know it in Whisky as this kind of mecca of world famous, world class brands and distilleries. But I spent 14 days out of 21 on Isla. There was one spa in Port Charlotte. There wasn't much going on. But yeah, basically I was over there a week, 2 weeks, week before the festival, and got the opportunity through Bevy to try all the new Fagila releases. And then so each day, basically Fagila is a whisky festival for people that don't know.
You're going to have to get yourself a better job, eh?
So I mean, on a typical day in Fagila, let's say, so every
You're good.
So every as I understand it from my very little knowledge of it, every distillery hosts a specific day. So you'll get like Ardbeg will have a day, Lagavulin will have a day, Ardnahoe will have a day. So
You're going to keep going there, I guess.
I could have kept going. It's showing off a bit of an old knowledge there. But for example, you know, it's the Ardbeg day. What did that look like? What happened on the day? What was there when you turned up? What did they have on? Talk us through a typical day on Fagila.
Fagila Whisky Festival originally was an arts and cultures festival. So what you get is a lot of like local artists or photographers and all that kind of have their stalls up. Lots of like different food stands and the Isle oysters and all the rest of it. But each day would have different themes, different events. So, for example, Ardbeg, we all tried their Spectacular this year, which was a port matured with bourbon matured, fatted together. And so the Spectacular was around this kind of circus theme. So you turned up to Ardbeg and everybody was dressed up as if they worked in the circus.
And am I right in saying that's they've got quite a distinctive packaging on that?
Yeah, exactly. So all their marketing stuff for it was done in this kind of theatre and theatrical circus and all the rest of it. So they branded their day like that. And so different releases worked for different things. But basically it's a sesh at each distillery each day. If I'm being totally honest, because I was there the week beforehand and had already tried the special releases, it was great because I kind of already knew what I wanted to go for. The filming I'd done the week beforehand was amazing. I got to film with pretty much all the distillery managers, if not the brand ambassadors, which is amazing. You're in a warehouse with Barry, the distillery manager from Lafroig, and it was his last Fagila. So you guys know I'm not a Lafroig drinker.
No.
But drinking Lafroig in the distillery with the distillery manager is his last release. That was so special.
Yeah.
And so the filming before the week beforehand was really, really interesting, and I really did learn a lot. Going back the week later, it was more just about being seen.
Yeah.
And obviously Bevy being there, it was just about, we had loads of people there that knew us, and so we had a couple of bottles maybe to pour for them, and we had some interesting liquid with us, and we went to like an independent bottlers fair one day. So Lafroig Day was also shared with the independent whiskey fair day, where Woodrows were there, and your man from Dramming was there, Mr. McDonald.
Friend of the show.
Friend of the show. So it was brilliant. It's one of those things that you think you get sick of peated whiskey, but all the special releases are so unique. Going over to Jura for the first time, again, I'm not necessarily an on paper a lover of Jura's whiskey, but it was so magic. Going over to Jura, spending the day there on festival day, so it's pretty much the busiest day of the year for them. Population of 213 people. It maybe got up to about 400 or 500. But live music every day, whiskey flowing, good cocktails, good drinks, and a few masterclasses kind of twisted in there as well.
And what are the distilleries themselves like on these days? Are they more open doors than, let's say, on another day? If you is it kind of have a wee peek round the warehouse door sort of thing, or come and have a wee look in the still room?
Yeah, so they'll have several kind of masterclasses on during their day. But it's one of those things that, see, for example, Ardbeg, they just kept their stillhouse open.
Yeah.
So everybody's there.
And it was running at the time, was it?
Yeah. So everybody's there. There's a festival atmosphere because it was a carnival theme they were doing. They had people on stilts walking about. They had different like games you could play. But also, stillhouse is open. Just walk up the stairs and go in if you want. And that's amazing. How often I talk about doing a tour of a distillery and not wanting the tour. I want to give them my money. I want to look at the still house, and then I can leave, and I'll be quite happy with that, to be honest.
And we've spoken about every distillery. I think every distillery has their special release for this. Did you get anything a little bit more special when you were out there?
I did. I'll be honest. I spent a wee bit too much. You know? I kind of intended to buy myself a bottle of whiskey. I bought 2 Bowmore 19s.
Right.
So that was a Bowmore that was 4 years in bourbon and 15 years in virgin oak.
Right.
Which was a belter. In fact, I will bring a sample in for you boys. In the next couple of weeks. It was special, and that was the dram that when I tried it the week beforehand, I said, "Yeah, I'll get a bottle of that." However, I ended up getting a wee bit carried away. We had an amazing taxi driver, Ashleen. Shout out to Ashleen.
Hi, Ashleen, if you're listening or watching.
Irish woman, an absolute gem. As far as I'm aware, she's what holds the island together, and she taxied us about every day. And it was Ardnahoe's first ever year of doing their Fagila release.
Yeah.
Their first ever Fagila release.
Yeah.
And we weren't going to make it because Ardnahoe shared a day with Bowmore.
Ah, right, of course.
And the way it worked out is we were going to spend the whole day at Bowmore. We kind of booked a masterclass at Bowmore, and I knew I wanted to line up for one of the Bowmore bottles.
Yeah.
But Ashleen, the taxi driver, phoned me about 8:30 in the morning and said, "I'm on the line at Ardnahoe. Do you want one of 930 bottles in the world, first ever Fagila releases?" I said, "Ashleen, I think I'll take you up on that offer." So that was 2 bottles.
Well, I mean, and you talk about the Fagila releases. McTalla, Tam Cuthbert, a big shout out to
Which
Tam.
you loved.
He brought that in, and it was fantastic. And again, I'll openly admit, you're similar to myself. We're not big peated whiskey fans. Angus is the Pete head of art and head of research. But I mean, head of Pete. I'm interested to know, and Angus as well with his qualification in geography, and we sat beside each other at school in geography, not in art. But how big is Isla? For people listening, you're talking about your days sharing between it, and everyone pictures this sort of quaint little small island. My understanding is Isla is small enough to feel small, but big enough to also feel like you're not on a tiny little thing. But
yeah, I would say so. I mean, for example, if you're talking, so there's 2 main settlements on Isla. So you've got Bowmore and you've got Port Ellen. I think they're probably about you probably have to 25-minute drive between the 2 of them. Would you say that's fair, Ross?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So I mean, it's not kind of it's not, you know, it's probably the same size as like the Orkney mainland. Well, maybe not as big as the Orkney mainland or something like that, but equally it's not as small as somewhere like Tyree or Coll, or it's probably not too dissimilar in size to Mull.
It's a very flat island, so you can always kind of see something.
Yeah.
So again, you don't feel like you're in a rural, because as soon as you leave one town, you can kind of see the next one. Right. I would say the best thing though about Fagila, and I need to say this, obviously the distillery days are great, and everybody goes to certain things. Like Bruichladdich Masterclass was a once in a lifetime experience, but the non-distillery day events were absolutely the highlight for me.
Oh, really?
Absolutely. One of the events we done was to do an annual nosing competition. Right? And so that's just terrifying, especially somebody who works in whiskey, because you think you can only really make a fool of yourself.
No.
Now, it's each of the core releases from all of the 9-10 distilleries, a new make spirit and a surprise dram, and then there's one from Elixir Distillers, because they're currently building a distillery in the island. So 13 drams.
Yep.
Blue glasses, you're not allowed to taste them. You can only nose them.
Ooh.
There was 200 people in the hall, and the winner got 5 correct.
Really?
Out of 13.
What was the prize?
They got 2 bottles of whiskey.
Wow.
They got 2 bottles of whiskey. In fact, 3 people got 5, and they got 2 bottles of whiskey each.
So five was the benchmark of a champion. What did you get?
Here's the thing. I walk out. We filmed this. We put it on YouTube. And so we walk out having realised that we've clearly got less than 5. And so my colleague Laurie, you guys went to school with.
Yep.
I'm really nervous at this point. So I've got less than 5, so that's already terrible. And if Laurie beats me, my life is over, because he'll mention it every single day. Fortunately, the live results, I got 4. And so here's the thing. I was like, I can't really be that happy because I got 4 out of 13, but also Four's decent, apparently.
Yeah, he came second, effectively, joined second.
Exactly.
So very credible.
You're going to shame
Ross.
Laurie. What did he get?
Laurie got 1.
No.
Oh, well, now you can bring it up every time.
Want to see me dance on YouTube? On the Bevy YouTube channel, I dance around Laurie when I found out the score.
Quite right.
It was interesting because it is really, really challenging. And next year, I'll go and I can't wait to do it again. It's one of, you think you know, and you jot all these things down. I'm ready to hand my answers in, and he says, right, 5 more minutes. And so what do? You reevaluate everything you do. You change all your
second
answers.
guess things.
And so I got what I think were the fairly obvious ones correct, actually. But I'd say 4 apparently was great. I got Bruichladdich, Bunnahabhain, Bowmore, which is my favourite distillery in the island.
Sure.
And I got Lagavulin. But then you think, how can you not get Laphroaig?
Yeah.
Everything about nosing whiskey, everybody thinks that TCP, medicinal, iodine, Laphroaig is the most distinctive smelling whiskey in the world. Well, apparently not.
It's absolutely, well, I mean, it's fascinating. We talked about the Spirit Speyside Festival last week in Germany with Peter Klaas, Scotia Spirits, and I've been up briefly to the Spirit Speyside Festival, caught a couple of days towards the tail end, but there is something magical about being in an area very condensed with whiskey when you know, and it's impossible not to know that there's something going on. And then when you look at the event list and you see what's happening on what days and all the different things, you can go to a cooperage, you could probably have taken, I bet there would have been trips out to peat bogs, and you could have seen peat getting cut, probably cut your own peat.
Yeah, at Lagavulin you could go out with Pinky, Ian MacArthur. You could go out to a field and cut peat with Pinky. And how amazing is that? I even on the Bowmore day went to Machtala's open bar. So Tam Cuthbert took one side of a pub on Isla, and he put 3 cocktails on a Machtala, and he took over the bar for a night.
Well, actually, on the subject of open bars and takeovers, we talked about on the second to last episode, which was the episode we had with Eduardo.
Yes.
We talked about selling whiskey, and I thinking out loud, as I often do. Some ideas that come to me, Angus will be able to tell you. Some ideas that come into my mind are great, and some ideas you try and
some
forget
ideas
about.
would not be broadcast on this podcast, Graham.
Well, but one of the ideas was that we take over a pub, a bar, and we each get a budget, and we buy a certain amount of whiskey. We're only allowed to buy between 3 and 5 bottles, maybe 3 or 5, whatever it is. And we can only spend a certain amount of money on it. No cheating. You can't go to accounts. You can't go through your bevy account or whatever. Right, but we've got that. We don't tell each other what we've bought. By hook or by crook, what we've got, that's what we are. And then we each get an area of a bar, and we have to sell it. Now, the bar I mentioned was Uno Mas. And I mentioned friend of the podcast, Shan Buchan, who is one of the part owners of Uno Mas. And she'd obviously been listening on this particular day, and I just got fired into my DMs. It's absolutely on. So we need to start planning and thinking about what we're going to do here.
So here's my question. Do you want to do just drams, and then so you've got Angus's flight versus Graham's flight versus Ross's flight, or do you maybe want to step out your comfort zones a wee bit and you bring 2 bottles each and you just create a cocktail each, because that's very Uno Mas, and you guys have just shat yourselves.
Oh, I've not. No.
I mean, I don't.
No.
I'm not one for cocktails myself, to be honest. I'm already bricking it. But I think we have to do it like I think what we have to do is like an apprentice, total outlay. So let's just say, for argument's sake, it's £300, right?
Yep.
But we've got to sell those bottles, right? So you could go, you know what? I'm going to buy 3 £100 bottles, right? But you've got to try and sell as many of that as possible. The person who's not sold the most will be the loser. The person who sells the most whiskey will be the winner. I don't know. Do we do it monetary or whiskey? Do you do it by volume of whiskey sold, or by monetary value of whiskey sold?
It's a hard one. I think what we do is we either buy a bottle each and we put it on a menu and people can choose, or it would be the case of literally, and you should have to commit to this, if you wanted to do what you want to do when it comes to volume, we would have to give Shan's staff a night off and commit to be like, right, Shan, you go behind the bar and we'll be your free we'll be your free service on a Thursday night or something like that.
Oh, we'll be behind the bar, Ross.
And so therefore, literally the 3 of us will work a shift in Uno Mas. Therefore, we could actually do a volume of our own bottles.
Hi, Ross.
I think
you're going to have to dust off your wee kilt and get your little step ladder out, because you're not behind the bar yet.
I might put a kilt on, you know.
Oh. I think we've got to do monetary, because I think what you've got to do is price.
You price your monetary.
Because otherwise, if you're making a whiskey cocktail, you could just be chucking doubles in every single time, and you can say, well, I've sold that bottle out.
So you mean neat drams then? basically we want a menu. I think in that case you only do 1 bottle each. Because you're not going to sell 9 bottles of whiskey. But see if you do a bottle each and we put a menu together, we'll agree on a dram price. On a bottle price.
I think we got. You're right.
It'll go work. But that I'm keen. I'm absolutely keen. I could sell the water to fish.
Fish don't need water though, eh?
Wow. Maybe we do need to speak to Sharon.
We'll speak to Sharon. I mean, we are getting carried away. We've drawn too much.
I'm out.
Too much sun, too much whiskey, too much drawn.
Too much whiskey, but I'm keen as mustard for this.
About this. Yes. And we want people to comment and tell us if they would be keen to come and see us at Uno Mas doing a bar takeover.
Yeah. Also, we have started a Facebook page, Whisky Stories Podcast on Facebook. We're starting a group as well if you want to keep up to date with what we're doing, because we might be going out and about a little bit more, coming to events like this and welcoming people along. But what I'd also like to do is speak to anybody who's any listeners that's listening. Drop us a DM. I just want to ask you a few questions about how you've enjoyed your listening experience with Whisky Stories podcast. Find out what brings you back to Whisky Stories, because we have, the listeners are incredible. We've got we're now sitting at we're over 200 listeners a week, downloads. We're fast approaching the sort of 5,000 download mark for people that we've had. We've got people listening in all over the world now, except for
Antarctica, but we'll tick it off. We'll
find somebody. But I'd be interested. So please, if you are listening, if you're a keen listener, fire us a DM on Instagram, or what you can do is find us on our new Facebook page, Whisky Stories. You'll find it there. It'd be great to hear from you and great to start. And we've created a small community already, Ross and Angus. And one thing is, it's great, and we've been able to come along to events like this, which have been fantastic. And I mean, nobody's paid us to be here. We would accept sponsorship. If there's anyone listening as well that's got a load of money and a company that like to slap on our podcast, then please do. But as I say, it's been fantastic.
Let us know who you want on the podcast. See if there's somebody that we've not approached, somebody we've not spoken to, somebody that's not approached us. Let us know. It'd be great if you guys got X on, because we'll make it happen.
Yeah, I mean, or if you're listening yourself and you work in the whisky industry, or you feel that you've got whisky stories you want to tell, drop us a message. Let us know, because it helps us, because it means we're always looking for guests. We're always speaking to people, see if they can try and come on. Sometimes we have to convince them. It's like, will Ross be there? If he's there, maybe no bother. But it's a tough one. But thank you so much for listening in.
No whisky stories tonight, unfortunately. We don't have any whisky stories.
No.
We had our own whisky story, really. Remember that time we turned up at the Garden Rooftop Bar in the Glasshouse, and Angus stole the show with his picture.
Shepherd. What an effort, by the way.
We're going to get Kev listens to these. We bumped into Kev actually over in Germany, looking slightly exacerbated. He'd done a lot of travel, and he had the whole family with him. It's like the Waltons on tour when they turned up. But we were leaving as they were arriving. I don't think we were in any mood. We'd been walking around with the tail end. We had about a tiny little bit, about a fifth of the bottle of that litre of Glengoyne 10 left, and we didn't know what to do with it. And I just spied this guy in a Hibs tartan kilt with a bucket hat on and a load of folk, and I went, "That's Kev." I shouted over. He walked over. I went, "Here, take this, because you'll need it more you'll deserve it more than we do." And that was it. But I reckon if Kev's listening, I think we could convince Kev to hang Angus's picture in Diggers.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
I'm away home to cut my ear off.
Well, listen, guys, thank you very much for listening. Don't forget you can catch us on YouTube channel as well, Whisky Stories. You get us on Facebook. If you are listening, you do like it, please give us 5 stars, give us a little review. Check out what's going on at the Glasshouse as well. If you're in Edinburgh, you're visiting, we've heard 200 bottles of whiskey, some cracking trams, as Emily explained to us. Ignacio, Nacho there, he explained to us what they're planning on doing, some of their events. Keep up to date on all that, and thank you very much for listening. Thanks for following, thanks for subscribing and keeping up to date. Cheers.
Yay.